Welcome to Empyrion Galactic Survival. In this video we're going to be looking at two things. The first thing we're going to be looking at is the Alpha 9.5 update, which was released on the 6th of March 2019 if you're watching this in the future. And in the second part we're going to be doing a little bit of building on my base in my current series. But first let's look at the Alpha 9.5 update. And the reason we're on this start screen, for any of you guys who follow the current series, no, I'm not going to be starting over again. The reason we're here is that the big part of this change relates to a new starting option, and I thought probably the best way to explain it is to actually show it to you guys. So what we're going to do is we're just going to click Start Game, Single Player. It's a single player option only, and we're going to go into Survival Mode. And this is the current start, or the pre 9.5 start. We can see it started on escape pod, basic equipment, tutorial, yes. And then if we flip through here, we've got the Armoured start, which is exactly the same, that hasn't changed. And then we come here, this is the new update start. You can see it says starting wreckage base, equipment advanced, tutorial, no. And as if I come down here, it says recommended for experienced players who do not need the basic tutorial and want to start in a base with advanced equipment. Now what I will say is the definition of experienced players is pretty broad, because truthfully I would rather see this as a starting option, because anyone who's literally gone through the basic tutorial can then move forward and take this option up. Just to demonstrate what you actually get, guys, pay attention to the way this base looks in this picture, and then we're going to click Start. I'm just going to load into the game. Here we are, and as you can see, we start inside of this base. If you look around here, you'll probably guess, if any of you are familiar with the POIs, this is not the base in the picture. In fact, it's the old farm. And I've tested this a little bit, and what you seem to get is the POI that you land on seems to be dependent on the seed. So if you really want that really good looking base, what you're going to have to do is fiddle with the seed until you actually get what you're looking for. However, the base type aside, you get exactly the same starting conditions. If you come into here, you will see that we actually get everything here. You get the detector, you get a portable heater, you get a portable constructor, a drill, and everything you actually need here. And you also get a gun to protect it. So this is quite a big leg up from the perspective of the start of the game. I'm just going to put the portable constructor on there because I want to show you something about that. It's also quite interesting that we get things on the radar straight away. So this is a big change. If any of you guys have been following the recent updates, you'll be aware that in one of them there was a hint about massed base attacks being triggered in Alpha 10. And one of the questions I've got about this start is that how long before you'd get a base attack? Because this base is fully powered. You can see it's actually running on batteries with solar panels. If I come in here, you can see we've got a capacitor in here. So this is a fully operational base, even though strictly speaking it's not actually cored up. I just wonder whether the fact that this core here is a public faction, that this actually grants you immunity from a base attack. But that's something that maybe we'll need to explore once Alpha 10 comes out. Now the next thing I want to show you that's part of the update is if I drop the portable constructor down, you will see that if I come in here, now prior to this update it took 25 crushed stone to make one item before, so they've actually reduced this down to 15. So that's one other change that's been introduced as part of this update. Now the next one I can't really demonstrate, and I can only talk about it. And if any of you guys watched my 9.4 series start, when I actually got to the wreckage, it was very close to a Xerax territory. And what they've actually said is now that the Xerax will be further away from the starting biome. And again, I think that relates slightly to the potential changes that are going to be induced as part of Alpha 10. Now finally, to wind up this section, the other thing that's also in the updates is that they have introduced more stone into the startup biome. Whether this relates to this startup or the drop pod crash scenario, I'm not sure. But that's one thing I did notice when I started my 9.4 series, that there was actually quite a shortage of stone knocking around. So it's good to see that they've actually fixed that. And I think that is all we can talk about in this section. Right guys, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to quit out and load my normal game so we can talk about the other factors that are part of the 9.5 update. I'm not going to be playing this. Maybe when Alpha 10 comes out I may go for it, but my inclination is still to stick with the drop pod. Anyway, I'll see you in a minute guys once we are on the other game. So here we are on my base that I've been building up as part of my Alpha 9.4 series. For any of you guys who've just dropped in for the 9.5 update, this is an overview of the base. We are located up on the northern part of the planet and things are looking pretty good, but let's just get down to the next change. Now before I talk about the changes to the cockpits, there's one other thing I forgot about in the previous section, is they have now introduced a new ocean planet. But that is not a starter planet. What that is something that may appear in the system, so that could be quite cool to have a look at in the future, maybe if we actually get out into space. But of course I won't be able to explore it in this series because the planetary system has already been generated. Now let's get on to the next major change in the 9.5 update. That is to do with cockpits, and probably the best way to demonstrate this is first I'm going to jump in and show the visibility and the shape of this cockpit. You see this cockpit suffers with the very high instrument board in the front, which cuts down some of the visibility. And what I'm going to have to do now is I'm just going to retrieve the cockpit. Now if you look in the bottom right hand corner, you will see that the current hit points for this Cockpit 3 Legacy is 700. And what we're going to do is just take this out here. And that's gone. I think I might need to work a little bit on this ship actually. I didn't realise how weak it was with this surround. Come on, let's just get the cockpit in here, and if I press 5 and then right click, you will see now that the number of cockpits has been reduced, and what they've actually done is you've got cockpit 1, 2, 3 and 4 and what they refer to as armoured cockpits. They've got another 200 hit points. This is 900 bits. That's the one we're going to put in. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. What you'll see up here now is these ones here has got slightly reduced hit points, although there's a range here. But more importantly, they've reduced the hit points on this cockpit up here, and I think it's this one, cockpit 5, which I think if I come over here, and if we go to here, you will see that this one is a cockpit 5, 550 points, so that one hasn't changed. And what we're going to do is just drop this in here. I mean, this is a bit more angular in its shape, but more importantly now you can see that this has got a lot cleaner visibility. What I think what they've also done is reduce some of the struts, especially in the front there, so things look a lot more cleaner, a lot more streamlined. And of course, from my perspective, it's got a nice flat top to stand on when I jump out of the ship so I don't fall off, which is one of my favourite habits. I think that covers the cockpit. Right guys, before I talk about some minor changes and then one more big thing that I want to talk about, which will then lead into the second part of this video, any of you guys interested in all the full release notes, there will be a link in the video description, so you can jump onto that link and go and read all the details, especially all the bug fixes, because I'm not going to go through all of them in detail. The small points I will mention is that the wireless constructor now draws power. They've also introduced something that's quite intriguing for me. It says new non-craftable items for trade. And I just wonder where these non-craftable items are going to come from. And they do refer to that it's not going to be in the survival game, it's going to be for scenarios. But I do wonder whether maybe that there's going to be some new base materials coming in, because the items they talk about is alien organism, leather, fertilizer, and I do wonder whether this is actually a foundation for maybe a economic trading game, or maybe there's going to be a way that maybe you can get fertilizer to speed up the farming. There's a little bit of speculation there guys, I've got no inside information, and I'm going to be very intrigued to see where they're actually going to take that new element forward as they go in the future. Anyway, I think that's about it. Now the last thing I want to look at, which is related to the 9.5 update, which now goes into the next part of this video. Now, if any of you guys watched the previous video, I said I was going to do the Talon mission, but because I'm taking up a big proportion of this video talking about 9.5, what I'm going to do is actually do a bit of building here. And what I want to do is lay out my farm here. And what I want to do is walk out here far enough to see if I can still get a connection on the wireless connection. Yes, I think we can. I think maybe come out a little bit further. Maybe that's a little bit too far. And what I want to do is start laying out my farming complex out here. And I think if we go to the... No, I don't want the hover vehicle. I want the base. I want the output. I'm just going to hook that there. I'm going to pick up some blocks and some trusses. Now, this does relate to 9.5, and it's actually a bug fix, and this is something that I encountered when I started building my base in this series, and that is that when I deployed the base starter kit like that, and it says it's created, what actually happened is, and it's still happening, I've still got the same problem. Okay, so they haven't fixed it. I've still got this problem here with the core, and I can't destroy it now. Let me just disconnect that, and because if I come in here, you can see this is not non-functional. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go back this way, and I'd hope, I mean the notes say that they've actually fixed it, but obviously I've still managed to break it. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to come here. I'm just going to build a new one of these. Oops, a daisy. Need to come in here, and I'm just going to hook that back up again. Everything's gone from it. Great. So we're going to have to put this back again. This back again. Maybe this wasn't such a good idea. And I think that has gone transparent, so I think maybe if I come out a little bit further this way. See, this is completely messed up. And you see now this is actually hooking in. And the question is whether it's going to let me build through that block there, that core. And this is going to be my new farm. But it's actually, so it's going to come up to there. I don't know why I'm doing this. I should be doing this with. Now, what I actually want to do with this is have it slightly elevated. So we're going to put this up like that. Oops, didn't mean to do that. No, I don't know why I'm putting them in one at a time. I think I'm a bit nervous about that broken core and whether it's just going to linger and mess me up. Just going to put that in there. And what I want to do is put one of these in the center like that. And then what we're going to do is come out 1, 2, 3. That's 3, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. And what I want is to have this look like it's actually elevated up and floating above the ground. Now, I do have one slight concern with respect to the turrets, because if this is really high, it may actually obstruct them. That's let me just get out this, guys. Moral of the story is talking and building, it doesn't often go together very well. I think what we can do is just drag that into the ground like that, so that fits. Actually, I think I've got that wrong. I don't know. Maybe if that's, what was that? That was, come here. Well, I've got that there. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That way. And can go 1, 2, 3 that way. Actually 4, don't we? And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We need that one on the end there, like that. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. And what we're going to do is just come in underneath like that. And then this is only going to come out too wide. I think maybe we can just put these right on the end like that. And this could be, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This one, isn't it? This can come down like that. Just double check 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it's going to come 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops. 5, 6, 7, like that. I'm just going to get underneath and just drop that down like that. And the idea is the farm will be orientated this way in parallel with this, and then this space in between will become a landing pad for SVs. But there will also be an option that should I need to expand. Oh great, I got a drone attack coming in. Oh, this is exactly what I wanted, wasn't it? And that's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I wonder how far this will. What broke? Did anything break? Always gets a bit nervous when that does things like that. I think I'm just gonna come out like that. I'm just gonna hook that in there. I think I've lost I've lost one truss from the start center here. We can just drop that back in there. And what I'm going to do is just put a truss in like that. And eventually what will happen is the grow plots will go in here, and then what I will have is the roof go up above, which we will have the grow plots in. Actually, if I, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, isn't it? So maybe if I come out 1, 2, 3, like that, then we come back one like that, and then I can put a truss in down like that. That should then support this section here like that, and then we're going to come across and just fill in that gap like that. I mean, the idea is to make this look a little bit lighter than it did before, and I've got a block in there which shouldn't be there. I'm just going to take that out. Yeah, I mean, that's the thinking behind this, guys, so that this is going to be elevated and it's going to be floating, so it won't look so blocky, you know, like a defensive blockhouse or anything like that. That's the theory anyway. Now the question is, can I get out this far? I think if we come in here, I've got enough blocks. 1, 2, 3. And that just made me jump, guys, because I thought that was the what we call it, that error where it collapses. Right, I'm just going to come in here. I think we can take that out so that that actually fits with this here. This is one back on this side. There's one back on this side. Oh, look at that! That guy actually got a strike in. Right, what we're going to do is just going to jump out of here. We're going to go into the hover vehicle. Let's go and loot the drones. They're a good source of resources. So I'm just going to jump in here, power up the thrusters and the lift. We can just gonna pull away, get a bit of height, and get over here. Yeah, one of those got a little bit closer than you should have done. The fact that the drones come from this side is one of the reasons why I am building my farm the other side. And again, this is a little bit of a dummy run for Alpha 10. Yeah, you're about to leave the remote login. Yes, well, that's understandable because I'm a long way away. Actually, I quite like this new cockpit, the flat top. And we've got a bit of glass here. Oh, that reminds me. Let me just do this and I'll just talk about something else. So let's grab that, get back into here. And just turn around so we can get... Oh, look, there's our local pteropod. He's a real pain in the neck sometimes. He hides under the water and then he catches me out when I'm not looking. Big thank you to Kyrgyz Empyrion, who mentioned about salvaging windows and as a good source of silicon, and I could have put the windows into my blueprint factory, and he made a very good point with that. And what I'll be doing is actually going to the crash ships that I've got just over the lake there, but rather than put them in the blueprint factory, what I'm going to do is use them as a source for my farm. Right, we just got that. And any of you guys follow the series, you'll be aware that I've got quite a love now for killing spiders. I'm just going to get back here. I'm just going to power off the thrusters and the lift. And of course we're just going to jump out. Press F4. Don't really want to waste the food, so we'll put more food, put that in there, and we'll just put this into Constructor in. Right, we'll keep that. And of course another advantage of having the drone attacks is that you get a nice big supply of minigun ammunition. And I've noticed that I'm a bit low on blocks, so let's just get back into here. And the Constructor, Untitled Constructor. Let's make another about 40 odd blocks and maybe another 6 trusses. And I'm just going to get out here, and I'm just going to hook back to Constructor out, and that means as everything's being produced, we should be able to just get out and lock things together. Oops. Of course, it helps if you actually put the items you need down on here. And this is actually going to be one bag, so we're going to have to be a little bit careful here. And hopefully this will float in the air while I actually do the necessary connections. And I think if we just come down like that, that will make this look pretty solid. And then what we can do is just get back to here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I should have enough to hook out to here. And then we just drop the trusses underneath like that. Of course, we're going to have some form of lift or way of getting up to this. And I think you guys are probably now getting a feel for the pattern of this. That what we should have is 8 blocks of 9, which should be more than enough for any food. And if I do need to expand, I can always come out further this way with some farming plots. This is the main structure. I think just let's see if we can hook some more of these out here. And I think maybe we can come up with a roof. And I think what we can do is we've got here, and of course we need to go up 2 for this area here. And I mean, do I want to put really solid blocks on these corners? Let me just, whoops. What? I don't really want to put big solid blocks on here, so maybe if we come up to like that on that corner, and from here, oops, gone too far. I might put curved blocks on this corner, and just on this corner like that. I'm just going to put 2 more on here like that, and this is going to be quite a big expanse to bridge over. Trouble is I want to put glass in here. I mean, I could put a, will that make it, oh, and I want this to look as light and floaty as possible. Trying to think of the best way to do this, because we're going to need to enclose it to make a roof. I mean, I could think of something here. This may become a work in progress, guys. I think if I put one there and one there, and then bring these two together like that. Trouble is, if I take that block away, well, what we could do, I mean, that's a big gap. Actually, I think what we'll do is we'll put a block there and a block there. This might work actually. And then what we're going to do is put this here, and we're going to go across like that. That will support this section here. And I think what we're going to do is just tuck in a block there like that. Have I got any more blocks? Nope. Okay. I think I should be able to do this, and we're just going to knock out, say, how much stone have I got? Plenty of stone, so knock out about another 40 of these. Oops. So while that's building, I'm just going to do a little bit of speculation. Okay. Right, let's press that. Right, we got 13 blocks. That could be unlucky. And I think what we're going to do is just always annoys me when it turns like that. You can't see it. Turn that round like that. And what we need to do now is get a block in this area here to form a corner. I think it could be that one. We're just going to just turn that in there. It's going to give a little bit of a lip here, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. And then it means that afterwards we can take these blocks out. I think what we will do is go back to there, put a block there, and then try and get across to here like that, and just seal that bit in there. A few more blocks. Just gonna hook that into there like that, and I think I'm a bit worried about that, so I think what we're going to do is put a couple of temporary blocks in there like that. Oh, don't want that, I want that. Okay, I'm just going to turn that. This is gonna go bad. Nope, it worked. And that's going to connect to there like that. Now that's got a connection, so we can get into here and take this out. And oops, didn't mean to do that. Just press this twice, and I'm just going to hook in. I'll drop that into that corner there, like that, and hopefully this will get into there like that. And I'm running out of blocks again. And I think we can look out this block here now, because that should have a solid connection, that position, and we don't need a block here. Oops, just hit that corner. That's there. This is a solid connection as well, so that's now all sealed up. I think if we just to finish this off, we got, don't think I've got enough blocks to do this, but never mind. We'll just drop a block in that corner there, which means I can then take out this one. And I think just to keep the strength going here for the moment, we'll just put this in here. This and go this way. And that can turn around and connect up to... Oh, this might be a bit dodgy. I think we might not have a... No, don't want to do that. We just want the one on the top, please. Okay, we'll take two. Oh, that is solid, sorry. Then that should hook into there like that. And then what we need to do is just put on one in this corner. And rotate that into there. And I just need to fill in this corner, then we can fill in the roof, which will then give some structural integrity. Right guys, I've just noticed the time, and I think this is where I'm going to call it. What I will do is finish off the main structure off camera, because the other thing I'm going to need to get into here, I've just remembered, is a capacitor, because we're going to need a capacitor to actually drive the solar power. In fact, I might keep these pillars to put the capacitors on so that they're protected from attacks. And then maybe we'll just have a door out this way and a door out this way, or maybe we can put an elevator in or something like that. This is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video, hope you found it interesting, and until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.